In this episode, we have a sail test. Vanni Galgani tried the Amel 54, exclusively for World Boat. We'll be seeing the Bayliner Avanti 8, a versatile speedboat that offers many different living solutions. And then we'll be learning about Platinum Selection, the new exclusive program of Luxury Yacht Corporation. The boat that we're presenting today is extremely special, maybe one of the most unique boats on the market. It is the Amel 54, and we tried it out here at the Port Crossport in the waters in front of Hyères. This port is one of the bases that the shipyard uses to fit out their boats and to train the clients. The Amel shipyard started working in the post-war period, and over the last few years they've been producing some extremely innovative boats. For some time they had 3 boats in production, but they realized it was better to concentrate all their efforts on one boat, a unique model. What's the purpose of this boat? Well, globetrotting. This boat is primarily bought for long distance and challenging sailing. The boat was designed with the idea that people will spend long periods of time on board. Amel's project, the Super Maramour, was continually updated throughout the years up to the birth of the 54. The hull and the cover have increased dimensions, especially at the stern. But the design remains loyal to the Amel concepts. A well-protected central cockpit, a long keel, and a skeg on the helm for good course stability. A boat crew ketch with staysail for maximum division of the sail surface. And although aesthetics are not at the top of the designer's list, Amel still transmits their unique charm. This is almost a working boat, thanks to the practicality and functionality. As expected, the strength and dependability are the conducting themes in Amel's boats. While the hull is full, the deck is sandwiched in balsa wood, has sturdy millwork, and is fully handmade. The structure is a testimony to Amel's loyalty to the sea. It has a honeycomb design, a particular solution that helps the structural rigidness of the numerous elements, which are laminated together directly in the mold. There are 4 watertight bulkheads supplied with isolating valves. Just like everything else aboard the Amel 54, the covering is highly practical. Only a few people are needed to maneuver this boat, and this adds to its practicality. In actual fact, only one person is needed to manage the maneuvers. This means that the maneuvers are completely sent back to the cockpit, which is completely protected by a windshield that can be extended by using a small awning. We'd need about a week to be able to tell you every detail of this boat, and so we'll just try to show you the most interesting items. Let's start with the bow. Firstly, the stem head, which is very sturdy, is a double stem head in steel with a central part which can manage at the same time 2 anchors and the mooring system. Going back a little further, the guardrail can be seen. The guardrail is not made with the usual stay, but is made out of tubular steel. There are 2 anchor winches, one standard, the other optional. Having 2 anchors is extremely convenient because it allows the 2 anchors to be completely independent. Then, in this area, there's a deep sail locker, where all the mechanisms of the bow propeller can be controlled. 2 of the many general characteristics of the boat can be seen in this bow area. This sturdy gunwale emphasizes how the craft deck joints are made from the inside. And then there's the finish, one of the most controversial things about the boat. It's made of fake teak that's directly molded with the fiberglass deck. This means that the shipyard has chosen a finish that looks like teak instead of real teak because it's lighter, less expensive, and slower to decompose. And here's another characteristic of the boat here at the amidship. First of all, there are the chain plates, which are external and are attached to these highly resistant plates. Then there are the sturdy chain plates that allow the boat to be hauled by tying it here. The Genoa sail is also completely external, and it has a sail track on the gunwale. There's a main traveller here. It's quite big and in an advanced position. In this way, it avoids using the vang. This allows the boom to be placed in this very low position. And if needed, one could always come down here and work peacefully. Even the transom is completely equipped for cruising and for living aboard. The gangboard with its hydraulic opening is usually an option, but it's custom made for this boat, as well as the stern panel onto which a wide ladder has been mounted, and then these two bumpers in soft material which are needed when maneuvering. So here we are in the cockpit, and like the rest of the boat, it has a very unique setup. This area in front of the entrance is lowered, not only to create a safety threshold, but also to allow the skipper to stand up when the awning is closed. The windshield has a front part that can be opened in order to provide ventilation. The pilot house is all on one side. The pedestal, which can be adjusted in height, and there's this fixed seat. Then there are these large benches and table that can be quickly fitted into two positions. Let's take a look at how the equipment room has been set up. The majority of the systems are concentrated in this room. It's accessible from the cockpit and is completely watertight. It's rather like a chamber and totally soundproof. The C-shaped transmission is directly designed and built by ML. It's mechanical, lubricated with oil, and allows for a good distance between the propeller and the master's cabin. The axle is short and consequently soundproof and does not allow for any vibrations. It also allows for a variable paced propeller. Truly, this is a variably paced propeller, and when it accelerates, the pace adjusts according to the torque that the engine is supplying at that particular time. The interior design of the ML54 also offers high practicality. There's a large master's cabin at the stern, two guest cabins at the bow, as well as another bed at amidship. These cabins have been created by making the most of the stowage spaces. Given the honeycombed construction, it's not possible to change the setup, since each element contributes to the structure of the boat. Unsurprisingly, the setup, that has been studied and improved over years of experience, cannot be personalized. As with the external characteristics, even the aesthetics of the internal elements have a certain reasoning about them. Custom-cut sapelli wood is used, using a visible grain. The shipyard requires the wood to be cut with visible grain because it acts differently to varnishing and glues. There are some typically French furnishings, which means that they've been treated in a practical way, but are not particularly heavy on aesthetics. The wardroom is clearly divided into two areas, from this sturdy and completely omega area that ends up in this area, forming two semi-bulkheads. The course plotting is found on this starboard side. It's a large worktop where the maps can be easily spread out. The maps can be stowed here. It's very deep, and this makes it difficult to find the maps. There's room for electronics of every type and size here. One can sit on this seat. On the opposite side, we have the kitchen. Marvelous, I must say, and it can be used during navigation. There's a large stove with 4 burners, a microwave oven, a dishwasher, and various commands. The sinks are here, and these 2 very deep compartments can be used for storage. And then there are these refrigerators. This could almost be a freezer that reaches very low temperatures, and this is a fridge with a vertical opening.
A prua di queste due semiparatie c'è tutta la
Towards the bow of these two semi-bulkheads, there's a dinette area that is made up of a C-shaped settee that can sit up to 7 to 8 people.
le due poltrone su questo lato.
And then there are two armchairs on this side.
Posta
The table can move in order to facilitate seating people at the end.
per potersi mettere a sedere fino in fondo.
And then, in this area, there are two armchairs that, well, help create a kind of a vis-a-vis effect.
Superata questa paratia,
Crossing over this bulkhead, we enter into the area at the bow where there are two communicating cabins.
per andare nella cabina
To get to the VIP cabin, where there is a double bed, one must pass through this cabin that has two bunk beds.
salvata chiudendo questa
Privacy can be obtained by closing this curtain, but in this other cabin, there's a door with a bulkhead.
Qui però si sale ulteriormente
Here we go up a level, and so the height is a little narrow. It's only